Today I've got one of my old favourite consoles, the old PSX or PlayStation 1. This particular one, I'm just curious to see what's inside of it. It's one that I've received a while ago that's lived in a cupboard. So I thought I'll give it a bit of a teardown, have a quick inspection, and just have a bit of a chat about what I think of them. I remember when I first got one of these, it was Father's Day, I think it was about 1998. My dad purchased one of these for himself, and also got Destruction Derby 2, which that particular game racked up many hours on it. Granted, I absolutely sucked at it at the time, still suck at it now, but overall the catchphrases are embedded in me nowadays. But one thing that I used to always do with it, once a week, maybe once a fortnight, we'll go down to the video store and usually end up just hiring out a game. Probably the key ones I remember hiring out were the first Gex 2D game. At the time that was pretty awesome, but the biggest one that I definitely enjoyed the most would have been Metal Gear Solid 1, which over the years I ended up owning that and have completed it many times, and it's about the only PS1 game that I can go back to and happily play. I find nostalgia does so much, but actually it being a good game, makes it a hell of a lot better. Like, for example, you can go back and play Gran Turismo 1, but why bother when there's Gran Turismo 5 that does exactly the same thing, looks better, plays better, overall better. Another thing I like about these older consoles is how power efficient they are. The PS1 is 10 watts of power, which nowadays compared to the PS4, Xbox One, it's nothing, which is absolutely insane. Which another thing I do find with these older consoles, since they're usually either fanless or just passively cooled, is how clean the internals are in them compared to modern day consoles. This compared to my 2-year-old PS4, the dust is, you can't even compare them. The PS4, the amount of dust that blew out of the fan on that was crazy. With this, open it up, it's just nice and clean, not a speck of dust landing even inside of it. And one other thing I did discover with this particular console is it's actually been mod chipped, which is something I haven't tried out yet on this particular one, but I'm assuming if I chucked in a game, away it would go. Another device that I do have that I managed to get a pre-order of was called a PSIO, which is a flash cartridge that plugs into the parallel port on the back of the PS1 or the PSX, and from there you're able to load images onto the actual SD card which plugs in, and it emulates or bypasses the CD-ROM to run them off the cartridge. So instead of having to burn the discs, you can just manually put them onto an SD card and away you go. So far that's been in development now for I think 2 to 3 years, which I find pretty cool. Like, I've had mine for about 2 years, but with them I found just going back to some of those older games, I just find them really unplayable compared to the current stuff that's available right now. Even the indie games or 5-year-old AAA games, it's hard going back to the old PS1 with the gameplay quirks, poor graphics, poor sound in comparison to today. But I've got one. I've used it to play a couple of just obscure games I've downloaded just to try out. So I might remember on the PS1's original demo disc that came with the console, there was a game called Overboard, which was essentially a top-down kind of game. You're a pirate ship, you cruise around in waters, which pretty cool to replay that on the original hardware. But it's not like playing with an emulator with the graphics turned up. I've found that to be a lot better. Even playing them on a Raspberry Pi yields better results. But anyway, that's just my thoughts on the PS1. I'll let the rest of the teardown continue. As you can see in this video right now, the bottom right hand corner with the red cables, there's a mod chip living down the bottom there. Catch you later.
4 years later, the second adaptation was released in Soviet cinemas, this time directed by Andrei Tarkovsky. His interpretation is fairly typical for Soviet cinema at that time, paid by the Academy and without a care for financial success, but mainly concerned with artistic aspiration, deeply philosophical, and just magorically poetic with a patience that is hard to find in modern capitalistic filmmaking. Its core theme is the psychological and emotional struggle of people on Solaris, imposing fundamental questions of existentialism on the protagonists and the viewers alike. This is also the version that, with utmost certainty, has influenced the writers of Silent Hill 2 the most. Because even though there had also been a third adaptation, directed by Steven Soderbergh and produced by James Cameron, this one came out 1 year after Silent Hill 2. However, it's also a very fine, highly artistic, beautiful rendition of Lem's novel, but it doesn't really come close to the artistic brilliance of Tarkovsky's work, if you ask me. So in this video, we're going to focus on this one, Tarkovsky's work. But enough beating around the bush. What the hell happens on Solaris? Following Jabarian's distress call, the protagonist Chris Campbell travels to Solaris, and upon his arrival, he only finds 2 scientists left on board. Jabarian himself apparently took his own life only days ago. Calvin instantly senses that something is wrong in this place, not only because of his suicide, but mainly by the way the 2 remaining people on the station, Dr. Snod and Dr. Sartorius, behave and talk. Similar to Andrea, Eddie, and Silent Hill 2, the scientists are distant and deeply disturbed. The voice acting of Silent Hill 2 has often been criticized for being stale and disconnected, but in all honesty, the original voice cast did a fantastic perfectly portrays people that are lost in their own delusions, constantly talking past each other. Parrot? Oh, Mark. It's you. I thought you were... Sorry. In Solaris, Tarkovsky once again shows his mastery in establishing this multi-layered, unsettling, dreamlike atmosphere simply through the way people talk and act, unmistakably conveying how something is amiss without making it obvious to the viewer what is actually wrong. A sort of inverted dramatic irony in which every character knows something that the viewer doesn't, that Calvin doesn't know either. Snod, for example, always seems to make sense with every third sentence he utters, like he's gone utterly mad, while Sartorius is extremely secretive, not allowing Calvin or anyone else to enter his quarters, obviously hiding something or someone. But as I've already been implying, Calvin soon learns what's going on, and is spontaneously visited by his wife Harry in his room, who had already died several years ago. Just like with Mary in James's case, Calvin had been guilt-stricken by her death. In his case, he didn't actively kill her, but she committed suicide resulting from their tumultuous divorce. Gripped by a sudden fear, because he realizes that this can't be the real Harry, he lures her into a space shuttle before launching it into the stratosphere. But no dice, Harry's doppelganger keeps returning, with no recollection of the past, and so, just as Maria, the doppelganger of James Sunderland's wife, dies over and over again, so too is Kelvin forced to witness his loved one's apparition die repeatedly in horrible ways. And just like Maria is not a carbon copy of James's fire, but rather a projection of his idealized, rose-tinted memories of her, Kelvin's visitor, as the scientists of Solaris call them, is also shaped solely from the things Kelvin remembers about Harry. While the scientists' attempts to establish communication with Solaris Ocean fail, they quickly come to the hypothesis that these visitors are the planet's first attempt to communicate with them. A practically omnipotent being that feeds off the emotionally most significant information locked away in the minds of its hosts, which it clumsily uses to recreate them in physical form in an attempt to provoke a reaction. And it does achieve the desired effect. Harry in particular appears to be more than just a soulless husk. Even though she's sculpted from Kelvin's unfulfilled desire for redemption, she appears to be alive, sentient, equally aware and afraid of her existence while puzzling at the inscrutable reasons behind it. incredible scene, Harry, looking at her reflection in the mirror, wonders whether being an indistinguishable copy of a human being does, in fact, make her a human being, or is she something aberrant? Jack, very similar to the introspective monologue that Rita holds at the beginning of Born from a Wish, also looking at her reflection in the mirror and wondering what her wretched existence means and how it all makes sense for her to be. Scientifically, Harry is something else, something inherently inhuman, like her emotions and her other lives, but she is indeed as human as the people living on the station. This fundamental conundrum of existentialism extends not only to Harry and Kelvin, but ultimately also to the viewer. Many great pieces of literature and media have tackled this deeply philosophical and ethical question, because its fascination lies in the fact that, despite its philosophical gravity, there are no ultimate answers for it. Thinking about it in and of itself is its own purpose and the reason for the torment it causes. And so the investigative purpose of Calvin's mission becomes secondary to his true objective, finding redemption from his guilt. While Silent Hill 2 focuses heavily and openly on horror themes to convey its very personal and thought-provoking narrative, Andrei Tarkovsky's Solaris is a surrealistic and philosophical piece of cinematic art that employs the novel's science fiction setting to explore similar fundamental questions of human psychology, trauma, repression, guilt, remorse, and the many different facets of love, including the deep scars that the loss of a loved person can leave in the survivor. It's a film that takes its time to carefully build each. They always hit hard, leaving a long-lasting impact on the viewer. Tarkovsky's films are known for their dreamlike elegance, and there are many layers of symbolism that make you ponder about it for long after watching it. And that makes it all the more rewarding to discover something new each time you watch it again. If you consider yourself a fan of Silent Hill 2, or if any of what I just showed you even remotely caught your interest, I can't recommend watching it enough. But be warned, it's not an easily approachable watch when you're used to fast-paced modern cinema. It is, as I said, very slow-paced, sometimes even dreadfully so. Tarkovsky apparently once said in an interview that he made the first hour of the movie deliberately boring to get all the idiots to leave the cinema before the film takes up momentum. That's it for today, so thank you for watching Monsters of the Week. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment down below. And if you'd like to support me directly, then why not leave $1 or $2 on my Patreon? So, until next time, remember,